Alright. Just finished work. It's 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. And it's Greek week at Lidl. We're going to slow cook these chicken gyros. It's going to be chicken gyros. And might I add, chicken gyros for under 200 crowns for everything. Yum, 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 yummy. Yeah. That chicken's about done. That gyros chicken. Everyone's getting his gyros. It's Greek week at Lidl. And I should have gotten 2 of these. Oh, shit. So I should be able to get 6 of these, just like that. Some good pita bread at Lidl today. So, gonna make Mama's next. Benjamin, here's your food. Get your gyros pita. Yeah. And Mama wants just a little mikri gyros. Hers has some kimchi on it. Ooh. Is that good? Oh yeah. I have mine. It's good. It's really good. And a hell of a lot cheaper than getting one in Prague. You can't even get one of these in Prague anyways. Or in Kladno. Greek gyros. That's good, man. Kali, kalo, kala. Good in Greek. In all 3 genders. Tainted love. Tainted love. Tainted love. I better turn it down. Bump, bump. Alright. Finish that little, I don't want to call it a doner kebab. It was a gyros. Everybody knows that brand. Plzeňský Prazdroj. Pilsner Urquell. In the 1990s, the Czechs were calling it by their own name, Plzeňský Prazdroj, which means Pilsner Urquell. Or Pilsen from the old well. Yep. It was on sale for 25 crowns, which was kind of a miracle. Oh. I should have opened it with a lighter and gone like this. Like I did in the 1990s. That's how it tastes. In the last 10 years, I haven't been drinking much Plzeňský Prazdroj Pilsner Urquell. It's an overrated, overhyped beer. You only drink it when it's really cold. I remember the 1990s when I was younger, I would say, damn, Pilsner Urquell is the best beer in the world. But I haven't been saying that for, I don't know, since maybe 2000 when I left the Czech Republic. I came back in 2009 or 2008 for like 6 months, and my wifey, she was like, I don't want to live here again. Let's go back. So we came back a year later. It's okay. I like the Gambrinus 12 better. Oh, I can see myself again. I don't look like the way I used to. Getting older and stuff, but yeah, the the gyros was really good, man. So I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the gyros and donors. Gyros, when I used to live in Deutschland in Germany in the 1990s, from 92 to 95, 6-ish. That's what fed me. Donors, but mainly gyros, Greek ones from pork or chicken, but I always got the pork ones. They were like big, huge cones, full of goodness. For 6 mark 50 or 7 marks, you get this like huge, massive monstrosity of a kebab or whatever you want to call it, and fresh baked bread from the Greek people, and they just made it so nice. You know, you just munch on that all day long. You can get it for breakfast. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you didn't really need to eat anything else because it was enough. And I was a broke student, broke college, university student, whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't allowed to work in Germany, only illegally, which I did. Of course, I had many jobs paying like 10 to 17 German marks an hour, man. I had to be able to afford those uh those gyros. But yeah, I remember then it was all about, donuts and gyros. Of course, the Turkish places and the Greek places, they couldn't be too close to each other because, they'd be like two old guys with their broomsticks, like, yelling at each other about who has the best food and who has the cheapest one and trying to get you to come. But yeah, they were both equally very good. Again, I ate the Turkish pizza and the donuts and all that kind of stuff, man. It was so amazing. Best food ever, and it was so cheap. And it was like, damn, I'm so poor, but I get to eat so good. And the beer in Germany was really cheap too. So, and I had, my German girlfriend who was, telling me I was, yeah, no, she liked me and stuff like that. But I couldn't get a work permit, so I was working illegally, and everything was good. It lasted about 3 years before I got my deportation notice that I had to leave Germany. So in those 3 years, I visited Prague, and I was like, okay, if I get deported from Germany, this is where I can come to, because this is all before the European Union. So yeah, I did leave. I went back to the U.S. voluntarily. Told me if I didn't leave voluntarily, then they would come get me and put me on the airplane in handcuffs or whatever. 3 years illegally in Germany. So I left. But I was back like within like 6 months. Back in the Czech Republic. 95. I was in, no, actually, I went to Germany. Went to Germany and then I went to the Czech Republic. I think I spent like 3 months in Germany. Back then, there was no 90-day rule. You could just like, just like before. The only reason why I had problems was because I tried to apply for a work permit in Germany after like 2 years, and I said, "Oh no, you're here illegally. You can't do that." I said, "Okay," but they gave me like a tolerance visa for like a year, and they basically told me that I had to get married in order to be legal. And yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. My German girlfriend and I, we broke up and all that stuff. But yeah, went to Czech Republic, and yeah, 96, 96, 97? No, 97 I met my wife in San Francisco, where I wasn't born in San Francisco, but I was born in Santa Clara, which is pretty much San Francisco. I grew up in San Jose. And, yeah. Met her, we were married in 98, and yeah. Came back in 98 and lived in the Czech Republic from 1998, or 97 to 2000. I just remember I was complaining the whole time. I was like, damn, where's all the doner kebabs? Where are all the gyros? What's up? What's up with that? You know, just like in Germany, I was eating so good, but here it was like nothing but Czech food. Czech, wholesome, hearty dumplings, sauce. They had some pizza places, and they had some of these fake gyros places. They were being made by guys mainly from Algeria and Morocco. They were made out of chicken. And they were similar to the ones I would get in Germany, but they were really small, but, you know, they didn't cost nothing back then. They were like $1 for like what I just ate. So, yeah. They're made out of chicken. Because, you know, Moroccans and Algerians are not going to eat any pork. But it was very similar to the Greek ones that I would get. The big Greek ones that I would get in Germany. Yeah, they were good, but we didn't get back to the Czech Republic until 2008 and 9. Still weren't any gyros, or actually those gyro places, they went away, or maybe they were still there. A couple of them, they just went away, I think. No, I remember now. One of the places. I found it, but I went there. It was like, looked like it was like gonna die at any moment. And I asked the guy, it's like, you know, where's all your customers? He said, oh, they're over there. They opened some doner kebab places. So that was in 2009. So I went over to try them out. To me, it was good because we didn't have those in the U.S., so I was missing that kind of food. But it didn't taste anything like the stuff that I was used to from the 1990s in Germany. But I found some Greek places in 2009 in Prague that were serving up the gyros. Similar, not the same like in Germany, but very similar. And they were all Greek Czechs. And I went to one place, and he was telling me, I asked him, I said, you know, like, because I noticed that, like, they all spoke perfect Czech, and they were all speaking Greek to each other. And I was like, you know, that's kind of weird. That you're in the Czech Republic, but you're Greek, and you're all speaking perfect Czech. And then he explained to me, he told me, that in the 1950s, during the Communist Revolution, lots of Greek people immigrated to Czechoslovakia. And he said, yeah, at home, his grandparents, they spoke Greek. His parents, they all only speak Greek at home. But he went to Czech schools. Even his parents spoke perfect Czech, but they only speak Greek at home. So I went to this one place. There were a couple places in Prague that I would go to where they had Greek food, similar to what I was used to in Germany. But, you know, they weren't doing very much good. They weren't doing good business, because at this time they were opening up Mexican food restaurants in the Czech Republic, and, you know, they were competing with them. So yeah, they weren't there very long, maybe a year, and then they were closed. That was it. Bye bye. No more Greek gyros, and then it's all Mexican and burger mania. Every place wants to have burgers. Everybody's like, you know, competing with the burger and burritos. So yeah, no more gyros. Now we have, Prague is full of these crappy doner places. Crappy, I mean, like the worst shit you get in Germany, like in Dresden or in like Frankfurt at the train station for like, I don't know, like €3, And here they sell it for 6 or 7 euros, and that's the same shit that no German would buy. Only people at the train station, where all the homeless and the hobos and the beggars hang out. There's like that place that sells like a doner kebab. Yeah, that's the same kind of doner you get in Prague, but like for like an insane price, like 6, 7, 8 euros, man. It's just, yeah. Nobody eats that. There's like, it's like I remember, when was it? What was it? 2000. We were visiting Europe in 2005. We were in Dresden, and there was like, near the train station, there was like this, I don't know, like a column, and there was like a little window, and they had like, they sold like hot dogs and bratwurst, which were good, but then they had doner kebabs too, but you couldn't always see the meat. You just order it, and they like kind of hand it out through the dark window for, I don't know, for €4.50, but it was like, ooh, that's not a doner kebab, but in East Germany in Dresden. Ooh. Yeah, but yeah, that's what we got here in Prague now. We have East German donors. And no more gyros. There's no more gyros. That gyro, the gyros that I made tonight, that's what we got. You gotta make it at home. Maybe there's a Greek restaurant. There is a Greek restaurant, but they have like, it's not that. They have like bifteki. Yeah, I remember like 5 years ago I ordered like, during the pandemic I found a Greek restaurant, and it had like bifteki stuffed with cheese and pita bread. Oh my god, it was like instant frozen. I don't know what it was. It was something. Yeah, I ate it because I was hungry, but I never ordered there again. Horrible. Absolutely. Where is my Pane Bože, Herrgott, Jesus, behold, where is my big cone? It was called the Beast in Germany, the Beast. It was like this big, and you would just like put your mouth in it and eat it. It was so yummy, and then you would eat a little bit, and then you would take the foil and put it back over on top, and then put it to the side and eat some more later. It was so good. It was called Der Beast. Der Beast. It was, I can't remember, it was 6 mark 50, and it was like, oh man. And the bread was, the pita bread was like this big and homemade. And homemade tzatziki, and nice skewered pork meat, and fresh salads, and feta cheese, and tzatziki, and more, and then, and tomatoes, and raw onions, red or white. It was just, oh man. It was like, I just said, give it to me all, Like, make it as big as possible, yes. And then I went there 3 days a week. Anyway, I like to talk about food in the good old days in Germany with the Turkish guy one side of the street and the Greek guy, both of them with their broomsticks, like threatening each other with their broomsticks, about your price of your donor. Your price of your donor is your price is higher than mine. I have the better one. And then they fight over like who's going in there. Don't go in there. You come to me. And there's the Italian guy with the pizzeria down the street, and he's just like shaking his head. Like that. He's like, yeah, come to me. I make you pizza. Okay. That's it for all my vintage food talk. See you later.